गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. We are in Jnaneshwari chapter 18 verse number 14, OV number 324 I was told, so we will just catch up. Adhishthanam tatha karta karanam cha pruthak vidham vividhascha pruthak cheshta daivam chaivatra panchamam. So here the five causes because of which action comes about, that are being enumerated by Bhagavan Shri Krishna, and he says the seat of action, body, as also the agent, meaning the doer, the karta, various instruments, that is sense organs. We told you that there are 5 sense perceptions and 5 sense organs of action. Karmendriya and Jnanendriya, that is the sense organs, and the mind. So they are taken, all the sense organs, Karmendriya and Jnanendriya, as one unit, and the mind, their manifold distinct functions, and the fifth, their presiding deities. Presiding deities are the devatas behind each one, like last time we mentioned about it. Behind the right eye is the Lord Sun. Behind the left eye is the moon god. At the nostrils are the Ashwini Kumars. At the ears are the Dik Devatas, and so on. Indra is in the arms, and so on. Vishnu is at the feet. Saraswati is at the tongue, tip of the tongue, and so on. And we came to here, we were seeing that, where are we? 320, 15, 20. So first one was, we already explained that the body is the first cause of action, and it is called the seat because the experiencer resides here along with the objects of experience. So what is the objects of experience? In technical terms, it is called idam, objects. And who is the knower of object? Knower of object will be aham, isn't it? And so where is aham? Is aham the infinite spirit, pure consciousness? No. Is aham the total consciousness? No. Then which aham? This is this individual aham. Where is he found? He is found only in the body. So experiencer and experienced object, both are present in the body. If there is no body, you cannot be the experiencer and you cannot experience any objects. That body does not mean only the physical body. We are talking about, last week again I am repeating, gross body, subtle body, causal body. Even a ghost, if he is coming to trouble anyone, he needs to have a body which is subtle. All the 10 sense organs toil day and night, and by reason of the Prakriti present pleasure and pain for the experience of the Purusha. So here the premise that they have taken is the philosophy, the foundation they have taken here. We are not talking of Vedanta here in this particular verse. We are talking about Sankhya philosophy. And Sankhya philosophy, what is Sankhya philosophy? In Vedanta, we take the Sankhya philosophy and we build upon it even to go beyond it. If you take Sankhya philosophy, the maximum you can go to is the Purusha Tattva. And what happens when you come to know the Purusha? You will be in Samadhi, that's all. So we are going, so right now, and what is the basis of Sankhya philosophy, which was given by Kapila Muni, another one of the avatars of Lord Narayana. And whom did he give it to? He gave it to his mother. So what is this Sankhya philosophy? Can anyone tell me? Do you remember what I said last week or sometime other? What is Sankhya philosophy? Huh?
That it is made of 24 tattvas.
That is, what is the basis of Sankhya philosophy?
Purusha and Prakriti.
Good. That Sankhya philosophy is, remember the 13th chapter we did? Kshetra Kshetrajna Yoga. That is Sankhya philosophy. That the knower of the field and the knower and the known. The Kshetrajna is the knower, that Purusha principle, and the known is the field. These are always separate. Okay, and we have to accept it, because what other choice do we have? We have got nothing else. Yes, you can go into go into Kundalini, you can go into Kriya Yoga, you can do Nam Jap, you can do Ashtanga Yoga, but in the end you have to come to this point. You have to come to a point wherein you are able to see that that Purusha and Prakriti, the consciousness and the matter, are two distinct, are separate from each other. And what will be the result of that? That this Purusha is not doing anything to disturb the Prakriti. This Purusha is not doing anything to disturb the Prakriti. Then how come Prakriti is getting disturbed? Her nature is to get disturbed. What to do? Because she is Trigunatmika. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. She continuously goes through that. Is Purusha making her do that? No. Oh, I am not able to understand. How is it that Purusha, the conscious principle, is not doing anything and still the Prakriti, the matter, is getting disturbed? Just like the sun is not doing anything, but the day and night are coming and going every day. He is not doing anything. He is not doing anything, but sunrise and sunset are also seen. Sun is not doing anything, but all the planets are revolving around the sun. Is he saying, please stay with me? He is not saying anything. He is not forcing them. He is not pushing them away. But they are in their orbit. Is he making, has he got a rope that, come, I'll keep the earth going round and round and round like a lasso? He is not doing anything. So earth is revolving around the sun of its own accord. Similarly, it's a limited example, but get the idea what is being communicated. Similarly, Prakriti keeps revolving, keeps going through its cycles. And what are the cycles? Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, whether you take it at totality level or individuality level. Here we are looking at individuality. Individuality is the waker, dreamer, sleeper according to the Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Same thing happens at the totality level. The Vishnu, Brahma and Shiva, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, along with their consorts, that is their Prakriti. And this drama goes, it's going on incessantly. So Purusha and Prakriti. So this Purusha and Prakriti Here it says the experiencer and the experienced both are in the body alone. Isn't that your experience at this moment? That you are the listener, you are in the body? Do you think you are outside the body? If you think you are outside the body, then Ram Naam Satya hai. सब पहुंच जाएंगे. So understand this. So this is the first point. Then second, that all the 10 sense organs told day and night by the reason of Prakriti present pleasure and pain for the experience of the Purusha. So whoever is the experiencer within, or yeah, we can just take, see, Purusha, when we say Purusha means the person, and according to Sanskrit there is Uttama Purush, Madhyama Purush and Dvitiya Purush. Uttama Purush or Uttama Purush is the self, that I am. Dvitiya Purush is you, and Tritiya Purush is the third person. So this first person, what you are calling as I, all experiences are for this I only, no? The 5 sense organs, the 5 organs of action, the mind, for whom are they functioning? They are functioning for I, for this person. It's immaterial whether this person is the virtual or the imaginary or the infinite, but it is the person, isn't it? We are not defining the person at the moment. There is no other place except the body where he can experience them. You cannot experience this outside the body. Yeah. Therefore, the body is called the seat of experience, and the word was adhishthanam. That was the first word. And that adhishthanam is the body. Then this is the home of 24 elements, and the tangle of bondage and release is unraveled here. Remember, anyone remembers what were the 24 elements that go into making this body? Remember? First set of 5. What are they? You look very grown up. My God, you look like auntie. No. Okay. Distraction. What can I do? I'm not in my room. Huh? What are the first 5?
Organs of perception.
Panchendriyas. But Panchendriyas, which Panchendriyas? Jnanendriyas or Karmendriyas? Jnanendriyas and Karmendriyas. That makes it 10. We need 10 more. Pancha Mahabhutas. Panchabhutas, no. Pancha Mahabhutas. Space, air, fire, water, earth. That makes it 15. Then Pancha Pranas. That makes it that makes it 20. And 4? Mana, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankar. Some places they will not take the Pancha Pranas, but they will take it as the Annamaya, Pranmaya, Manomaya, Vigyanmaya, Anandmaya Kosha. The 5 koshas, the 5 sheaths, they will take it that way. So without these, you cannot experience. So this body is made up of these 24. Now, last time, some places they say it is made up of only 7. Some places they say it is made up of 11. Some places they say it is made up of 36. It can go up to 36. So, different combinations. Just like I gave you this example last week, just like 5 sheaths, Annamaya, Pranmaya, Manomaya, Vigyanmaya, Anandmaya, can also be called as 3 bodies: gross body, subtle body, causal body. Similarly, they say it is only all this body is nothing but space, air, fire, water, earth. mind and intellect. And that's it, because everything is included in that, in gross or subtle form. So it's in which context they are telling you that don't become too obsessed with this information. Important thing is this, because just as same man can be called as father, can be called as husband, can be called as brother. So it does not matter what people call him, as long as he knows he's the man, right? So if people call you 59 years old, if people call you mother, if people call you father, if people call you man or woman, does it matter to you? Or better, people call you stupid fool, buddhu, moodaha. Shankaracharya also many times calls us. So do we get disturbed? We get disturbed because we don't know who we are. Because we have taken the superimposition of these 24 as I. But what is the truth? Purusha and Prakriti are separate from each other because they have got their own unique qualities. One is infinite, one is finite. One is changing, one is not changing. One is temporary, one is permanent. How can two opposite things ever come together? How can oil and water ever come together? You can put it in a mixie, mix it completely. Afterwards, again, it will become separate. It will float over it. Exactly the same way. This Purusha and Prakriti can never intermingle with each other. Yet, it is our experience, isn't it, that we are both. We are conscious also and we are the body also. See? So this is where the point is. He's taking us. That understand the body for what it is. Understand the body for what it is. Understand the body is Prakriti, made up of these 24. They are functioning in the presence of the pure consciousness, the Purusha principle. When Purusha principle identifies with these 24, he is called a Jiva. When he remains independent of these 24, he is called Ishvara. When the Purusha is abiding in Purusha, it is called realization. But we are not going there in this point. Here we are just seeing what are the causes of karma. Don't forget the topic under discussion. The 5 causes we are looking. And the first one was the adhishthanam, the body. The body gives support to the 3 states of waking, dream and deep sleep. And so it has received the name of a body. This is the foundation. This is the place where the 3 states, you can put 4th also, samadhi, the Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti and Turiya. These 4 avasthas, they come and go. Turiya avastha is not the one which comes and goes. But from yogic point of view or from meditator's point of view or samadhi point of view, we go into samadhi and we come out of samadhi. Where are you going, sir? I am going to do meditation. अब जब तुम मेडिटेशन करने जा रहे हो तो फिर बाहर भी निकलोगे ना. So we say it as, in that sense we are saying it as Turiya. In the same way, the agent is the second cause of action. Agent. So first was the adhishthan. Adhishthan was the body. Now the agent. Agent is the doer, karta. Can karta be outside the body? Not possible. So he is also present in the body. Now be attentive, because you think you are the doer. If you think you are the listener, If you think you are the eater, you are the seer, you are the experiencer, you are the knower, this is all expressions of the agent, isn't it? Just like a man forgets that he is man and starts behaving like a husband. All the problems are for the husband, not for the man. A man forgets being a man and he becomes the son. All the issues are with the son, not with the man. Same way, this Purusha forgets he is the Purusha and he accepts himself to be these 24. Then that Purusha is called the agent. Let's see how he explains it here. In the same way, the agent is the second cause of action. He is the reflection of the self. When rain falls on the earth, it forms a puddle, and when the sky is reflected in it, it assumes the form of the puddle. When the prince forgets himself in sleep and mistakenly dreams that he has become a pauper, so the self forgets his essential nature and identifies himself with the body. So just like this is the phenomena, you cannot stop it from happening. What is the phenomena? In the space, rain has fallen and formed a puddle. It is natural for the sky to reflect in the water. It is natural for the moon to reflect in the waters of the ocean. This is a phenomena. You cannot stop it. Okay, I gave you before the definition of agent, but now he is taking it a little bit more deeper. So, when the prince forgets himself in sleep and mistakenly dreams that he has become a pauper, so the self forgets his essential nature and identifies himself with the body. The self, the pristine consciousness, the pure consciousness, it identifies with the matter. Matter is these 24 elements that we just saw. And the moment he gives attention, to these 24 elements, thereafter, okay, we can use it in this manner, that thereafter he is called the Purusha, because Purusha is only with respect to Prakriti. You cannot have a husband without a wife. So Purusha will be called, the self will be called Purusha only with respect to Prakriti. Now this self reflecting in the Prakriti is called as Purusha. This is an unstoppable phenomena which is going for on and on and on and on and on, and you cannot do anything about it. You cannot stop the sunrise and sunset phenomena. You cannot stop the phenomena of day and night. Can you? You cannot stop the phenomena of rainbow. You cannot stop the phenomena of mirage waters. You cannot do anything about it. Under certain conditions, this phenomena happens and it goes on. And what do you mean by it goes on? Sometimes it is manifesting, sometimes it is unmanifesting. Sometimes it is manifesting, sometimes it is unmanifesting. And what is that? When is it unmanifesting? In deep sleep. When it is manifesting? Oh, okay, I'm going in a different angle. So, if the water is there, then there will be reflection. So, just as from the dream when we wake up sometimes all sweating. Why? Because we have imagined in the dream. We know after waking up that it was an imagination, but in the dream we took that dream as reality, and we were afraid of the experience that was taking place, and as a result we woke up with a start, sweating, big palpitations and heavy breathing. only, and the moment you realize, "Arey, I am awake, oh, it was a dream," and the moment you say it was a dream, all the fear, all the palpitations, all the sweating, everything quietens down. So, same way, the moment you recognize that this identification with the 24 elements, this identification with the body is not possible, then you are free. Who knows this? If you take Purusha Prakriti, this Purusha Prakriti is happening at two levels, totality and individuality. This Purusha knows he is independent of Prakriti, therefore he is called Ishvara there. And that Purusha who is identified with the Prakriti, he is not called Ishvara, he is called Jiva. He is called Jiva. So which one are you? Are you the one who is taking these 24 elements to be I, or are you the one who is recognizing that these 24 elements are functioning and I got nothing to do with it? I'm independent, I'm infinite. Which one are you? So we are not even talking about Vedanta. We are not even talking about, this is relative realization, relative immortality. What is relative immortality? Come to Ishvara principle. That is relative immortality. It's okay. Better than complaining in this body. I got the jab today. Why? Because the doctor said so. I don't want to own that I want it. I don't want it. He said, take it. I said, okay. Reactionless lifestyle. जहाँ ज़रूरत होती है वहाँ पे हम ये सेंटेंस डाल देते हैं, जहाँ नहीं होती वहाँ See? So, the self who has forgotten his own nature is well known as Jiva. So, Purusha see, just as in Panchadashi we saw this. What is that? There is Gaunatma, Mithyatma and Mukhyatma. So what is Gaunatma? See, all these three, the Atma word is there. But what is Gaunatma? Gaunatma is the virtual self. What is Mithyatma? The illusory self. And what is Mukhyatma? The absolute self. So what is absolute self? Absolute self is Ekameva Dvitiya. There is no otherness. I alone am. And that is known directly without a thought. I alone am. See? Who says this? I alone am. Is the absolute saying I alone am? No. Then what are Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh doing? When their eyes are closed, they are in the disposition of I alone am. The devotional texts say, oh, they are contemplating on each other. That's their imagination. They don't say that. If they say somewhere, oh, I was contemplating on the Narayana. For them, Narayana is the Ekameva Dvitiya. Narayana is the Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. You ask Narayana, whom are you, Vishnu, whom are you meditating on? Oh, I am meditating on my Ishvara. Shivji says, I am meditating on my Ishvara, my beloved. Krishna says, I am meditating on my beloved. Brahmaji says the same thing. So who is Krishna meditating upon? He is meditating on Paramashiva. So Paramashiva, Narayana, they are all that formless, attributeless, one without a second. It's one. But whenever their wives trouble them, then they have to open their eyes. Why? Wife, their Shakti. That Shakti is the phenomena. With respect to Shakti, that Paramashiva is called as Shiva. Paramashiva you cannot come to know as an experience. Water cannot come to know water as experience. So nothing can be talked about it. So that water tattva, the self or the infinite self, or that Paramashiva, we call it pure consciousness, reality, attributeless, qualityless. But when it becomes aware of its own potential, just like in the space the water was formed, clouds were formed, did the space create the clouds? No. Phenomena. The clouds got formed, the water fell down from the clouds vanished, and in the puddle of water the sky started reflecting. It's a phenomena. Same way, when that infinite, one without a second, in it, the Shakti he becomes aware of his Shakti, and the Shakti goes and multiplies into these 24. The Purusha, with respect to the Shakti, now it is called Purusha. That Purusha is reflecting in those 24. So if you are saying the five senses, he is reflecting as the seer, the taster, the smeller, the thinker, the knower, etc. All the speaker, the holder, the walker. That is none other than that. See? He is borrowing himself. The reflection. As if. Because you cannot stop the reflection from not happening. Till here also it is okay. Till here it is called, it is a natural reflection which is taking place, and that is called as Jiva Bhava. It has still not become Jiva. So when infinite is expressing through conditionings, it is a phenomena. That phenomena is called the illusory self, Jiva Bhava. He has not become agent yet. He has not become karta yet. He has not become the doer yet. When does he become? So phenomena, you understand, sky is reflecting, sun is reflecting in the ocean, water is, moon is reflecting in the ocean. This is the phenomena. You cannot do anything about it. When does the reflected moon become an individual? When he says, oh, because of the waves I am getting broken up, this wave is pulling me there, that wave is pulling me there, they are not allowing me to be the one whole. You understand now the point? Exactly the same way. When the infinite consciousness reflecting in the Prakriti is called Jiva Bhav, you cannot do anything about it. It again crystallizes into an agent when it accepts that only this five senses, five organs, these 24 elements. Only this body I am. So what is body disidentification? We keep saying you have to disidentify from the body, first step, and then you have to disidentify from Jiva Bhava, isn't it? That is the second step. One is gross, second is subtle. Only through recognition, nothing needs to be done. Don't go into this body disidentification means I have to come out of the body. Forget it. You cannot. If you do come out, if you have had that experience, it's only an imagination of your mind, nothing else. So where did you imagine? In your mind. Where is the mind? In the body. It's part and parcel of this 24. So you were hypnotizing yourself into having that experience. That's all. So who is the agent? Who is Jiva as compared to Jiva Bhav? Jiva Bhav is universal, Jiva is individual. Now individual. Concretization of Jiva Bhav, concretization of a natural phenomena. So you can never become disidentified from the body until you don't die. As long as you think you are the mind, you cannot disidentify from the body. You have to be the consciousness as the consciousness. Then there will be no need for disidentification from the body. So, this agent meaning only this body I am. I told you, whenever I told you, I don't know which class, body identification is not a problem. Only this body I am is the problem. Then what is the truth? Truth is I am expressing through all the bodies. You are not accepting that. You are accepting yourself to be only functioning through this body. Therefore, you have to take COVID injection. Simple. As much as we are pervasive in and through every cell in our body, is the same self pervading all the cells, all the organs, all the limbs, all the 24 elements are pervaded by this self alone, isn't it? When we can experience that I alone am expressing through all the bodies, Om Sahasra Shirsha Purusha Sahasrakrapad, then crystallization of individual is not allowed. Crystallization of Jiva is acceptance that I am only this body. अभी इससे ज़्यादा मैं नहीं समझा सकता, बाकी अपना चिंतन करो. हाँ, where are we? हाँ, the self who has forgotten his own nature is well known as Jiva, the embodied self. The latter has entered into a compact that he will ever associate himself with the body in all matters. It is this reflected consciousness which has made this unholy union with the matter, and that unholy union is called identification, marriage, which is not possible, and therefore he suffers. Till here we saw last week. Now we continue from 326th OV. Where are we? 326. हाँ. प्रकृती करी कर्मे तीम्या केली म्हणे भ्रमे येथ करता येणे नामे बोलिजे जीवू मग पाते यांच्या केशी एकीच उठी दिठी जैसी मोकळी चवरी ऐसी चिरीवर गमे का घरा आंतुल एकू दीपाचा तो अवलोकू गवाक्ष भेदे अनेकू आवडे जेवी का एकुची पुरुषू जैसा अनुसरत नवा रसा नवविधू ऐसा आवडो लागे तेवी बुद्धीचे एक जाणणे श्रोत्रादी भेदे येणे बाहेरी इंद्रियपणे फाके जे का. He says, through delusion he thinks that he has performed the actions which in reality are carried out by the body. Now we are talking about you, talking about if we are the owner, if I am thinking that I am speaking, big problem. Then what should be the disposition? Speaking is happening, I remain as the witness. Listening is happening, I remain as the witness, Sakshi. Don't get involved, don't take ownership. Don't take ownership, don't get identified. With what? With the phenomena of listening. Listening is a phenomena. It is taking place between the ear and the job of the ear is to hear some sound. So some sound is coming, it is hearing. It is hearing the click clock of the clock also. It is hearing when I move my hand on the book, my hand, see, straight away fell into the trap. It is also hearing this swoosh sound when the hand is moving on the book. So its job is to hear. Let it. Nose job is, or every organ's job is to do whatever it has to do. I gave you this exercise some weeks ago in this class or some other class, I don't know. Eyes are illuminating the colors and forms. Are they disturbed by any colors and form? No, they are allowing every moment some form is, sometimes that carpet comes, sometimes that sofa comes, then that color of the cushion comes, then that chair comes, then Parag and Samida come, then this lamp comes, then one of your faces come. Continuously the stimuli are changing and the eyes are not disturbed by that. Similarly, the ears are not disturbed by the sounds that they are illuminating. Nose is not disturbed by the smells and fragrances that are coming. So also, mind is not disturbed by the thoughts that are coming and going. Now, if you recognize that waking dream and deep sleep are coming and going every day, are you disturbed by them? You get disturbed if that because you want to sleep more and someone is waking you up. When something, because now you are identified. But is the mind identified with these three states? No. They are coming and going every day. Whenever they have to, it has to happen, it happens. Sometimes we sleep during the day, sometimes at night, sometimes we wake at night. It goes on. Don't precipitate, don't crystallize yourself into a sleeper, into a waker, into a dreamer. The moment you do that, you have lost the plot because you are accepting yourself to be each one of those. You can keep talking about, in the waking experience this happened, in the dream that happened, in the sleep this happened. But don't say I, when I was dreaming, when I was awake yesterday, when I was sleeping. Means you have identified. You can talk exactly the same language but in a third person. And slowly, slowly you'll develop a knack of watching, which you are doing right now also, but you are not aware of it. You have to develop that knack. Through delusion, he thinks that he has performed the actions which in reality are carried out by the body. So, all activity is happening only in Prakriti. No activity is possible in Purusha, because Purusha by nature is consciousness. And what is the nature of consciousness? Satchit Anand, Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Swarup. It's ever existing, all knowing, ever blissful, eternal, unborn, undying. Are you feeling that way now? No. Which means we have forgotten our nature. That is our nature. It is for this reason that the embodied self is called the agent. Who is the agent? He who gets identified with the Prakriti or the matter or these 24 elements. Now, even though the sight is the same, it appears like a fly whisker on account of eyelashes. The lamp inside the house is one, but it appears more than one when seen through the interstice of a lattice. The same actor appears to be different when he acts the nine different sentiments. In the same way, the intellect is one, yet it displays itself in different forms through the different senses. So, what is that? The self is one, just like man is one, but he expresses as father, brother, son, husband, uncle, employee, employer, boss, whatever. So, all this is that one alone. But which one is real? The man is real, or are these roles real? Gaunatma is not real. Man is in that example. Now don't take man to be real. Only Purusha. Similarly, in the same manner. So that was the first experience. At the sensory level, he gets identified with the agent, means the eye gets identified with the sight. He says, I am seeing, I am the seer. With hearing, I am the hearer. Okay. With the mind, I am the feeler, I am the thinker in the intellect. I am the waker with respect to the waking world. I am the dreamer with respect to the dream world. See? Because of the identification. So if you say I am the body, it's because I am identified with the body and I consider I am this body. And what is the truth? You are only there is a reflection in this body. That reflection. See, now there is this lamp in front of me. Huh? No, these what do you call? क्या बोलते हैं इसको? Ceiling light is there. This ceiling light is as if appearing as two. Lamp is one, or take this lamp also. It is one. But when it is shining something in the close to it, or that ceiling light is shining on the ceiling, it is very bright. But it is the same light which is illuminating the entire room, which is illuminating my face. Isn't it? So, if I put oil on my forehead, or I have siddhi, I purify myself. Then same light, it is illuminating my body also, but it is specifically shining here. So light is one, here right now physical light, but it is appearing as two. One place it is very bright, other place it is diffused. This is our experience. Exactly the same thing happens when the consciousness reflects, the Purusha reflects in this body. When when it shines brightly, it is called intellect. Where it is general light, it is called mind. Where it is shining brightly, it is called aham. Where it is general light, it is called idam. And the interaction between aham and idam is the drama that we are going through, isn't it? Think. So it's only the reflection. So is light the reflection? Not possible. But can reflection be without light? No. So am I the aham or the idam, or am I other than the aham and idam? So with respect to waking, this aham says I am the waker. With respect to dream, the aham says I am the dreamer. With respect to absence of the two, the aham says I am the sleeper. But this is the reflected one. This is the pratibimba. This is the jiva, the phenomenal. You know, remember the sky reflecting in the water. So that is a phenomena. That phenomena is now as if getting identified with each one and taking a role. So the sky is saying, oh, why have you bound me into this small well? I don't want to be a well. I want to be infinite. I am infinite. I don't want to be only in the well. But in the well also the space is there. In the well only little bit water is there, or in a puddle or in a drop only little bit water is there, and the sky is getting reflected. But if the sky starts thinking I am only this much, big problem. Imagine if the reflected sky in the drop gets identified with the form of the drop, then misery begins. He has forgotten its infinite nature. That's exactly what is happening to us. We are infinite, but we have forgotten our infinitude, and we have taken the phenomena which is the reflection. We have accepted ourselves as that, and not only that, one more step, and we have crystallized, we have accepted that I am this form. Just like that space has accepted that I am of the form of the puddle. Where is this idea that I am of the form of the puddle? Only in its imagination. Where is the idea that I am a wave? Only in the imaginary mind of the wave. For all, if you touch, taste, feel, you are only tasting, touching, feeling water. The wave is nothing but water, but it has forgotten its reality. It's forgotten its essence. And attention has to go somewhere. So where has it gone? It has gone to the form, and it's got identified with the form. This is the job of the agent. Agent is formed only due to identification. And therefore, when I gave the example, Gaunatma, Mithyatma and Mukhyatma. In Gaunatma, the I has got identified with someone else. And the man is, I am the man, I am reflecting in my wife, then I call myself husband. I behave like a husband, I think like a husband, I slog like a husband. Then I look at my parents, then I call myself son, and I go through the experiences of a son. But the experiences of the son, of I as the son, because son is the reflection in the parents, that the mirror is the parents and the son is the reflection. So I accept myself as the son. Man reflected in parents is called son. Man reflected in wife is called husband. So this son, husband, etc., they are gaunatma, virtual eyes. Then, okay, I understood this. I don't want to be virtual. Okay, come back. What's the next? How I have come closer to myself? No, I'm not reflecting anywhere. I don't want any roles. I have vairagya. Come to the body. Acha, I am the body. This is called, now that you have, first you are reflecting in the parents or the wife. Now you are reflecting in this body. Have you caught that? Okay. And if you consider yourself to be the body, it is called mithyatma, illusory I, phenomenal I. Both are in the Prakriti level only. And what is your true nature? It is mukhyatma. Mukhya means the absolute self. So you are not the illusory self, you are not the virtual self. This example Aneshwar Maharaj gave in Amrit Anubhav. When you stand in front of the mirror, do you cut the mustache of the reflection or you cut the mustache of the original? So you look at the reflection, but you work on yourself. Cut the mustache, trim the beard, make the hair of the original. This is the original reflecting in the mirror. But when you behave as a husband, as a brother, as a son, you are trying to perfect. You're trying to perfect the reflection. You're trying to make the reflection beautiful. And that can never happen. You will get exhausted. You'll get exhausted because your attention is on the other. When your attention is on the self, on the essence, then automatically perfection expresses. Continuing, the lamp inside the house is one, but it appears more than one when seen through the lattices, interstice of a lattice. The same actor appears to be different when he acts the 9 different sentiments. So through the either through the 10. This is the point that I was explaining with in this long stretched manner. In the same way, through the intellect, though the intellect is one, yet it displays itself in different forms through the different senses. The waking, dream and deep sleep, this is the job of the intellect. This is not the job of the gross body. This is not the job of the gross senses. This is not the job of the mind. It is the job of the intellect. Continuing, 331st. Te पृथक विध करण कर्माचे इया कारण तिसरे गाजाण नृपनंदना आणि पूर्व पश्चिम वाहणी निघालिया बोधाचिया मिळणी होय नदी नद पाणी एकची जेवी तैसी क्रिया शक्ती शक्ती पवनी असे जे अनपायिनी ते पडिली नाना स्थानी नाना होय जैवाचे करी येणे तैतेची होय बोलणे हाता आली तरी घेणे देणे होय अगाचरणाच्या ठाई तरी गती तेची पाही अधोद्वारी दोही क्षरणे तेची. He says the different organs of the body therefore constitute the third cause of the action. So first was adhishtan, the body; second was the agent, the jiva, and now third is the different organs of the body therefore constitute the third cause of action. Water flows separately towards the east and the west, and even though it is one and the same, it appears as big or small rivers. In the same way, the motive power of the wind is constant, but it appears in different regions of the body. When it operates through the faculty of speech, we call it talking. When it operates through the hands, we say it functions as give and take. When it operates through the feet, it is known as motion. And when it operates through the lower outlets, it throws out urine and excreta. Who throws out, who does all this? Who does all this? Huh? No. Attentive. Who does all this? Is it the jiva? Is it the agent? Who does all this? The motive power, the attention, the I, the aham. So just here it is saying when the wind, even though wind is one, air is one, but somewhere there is a typhoon, somewhere there is a tornado, somewhere there is a gentle breeze, somewhere it is apan, somewhere it is avyan, apan. See, somewhere there is a storm. Air is one, but expressing as different in different parts of the world. Exactly the same way. The motive power, the intention behind. Here he says, in the same way, the motive power of the wind is constant, but it appears different in different regions of the body. What is that? Motive power. Motive power, here you will take it as the verse said. What is it? And there the motive power will be the presiding deities. So it takes the different, energy is one, electricity is one, but when it expresses through the lamp, it is light. When it expresses through fridge, it is refrigeration. When it is expressing through fan, it is the movement and the breeze that comes. When it expresses through the heater, it is heat. Electricity is one. Somewhere it is 0 watt, somewhere it is millions of watt. So, when it operates through the faculty of speech, we call it talking. We call it seeing when it expressing through eyes. When it expresses through ears, we call it hearing, and so on. Now you can. Through the hands, it is give and take. Through the feet, it is motion. It throws out, and when it operates through the lower outlets, it throws out urine and excreta. So, in other words, you are not even the seer, you are not even the hearer, you are not the walker, you are not the giver or taker. It is happening. Where is the motive power? Where is the decision making power, or where is it? Is in the intellect, isn't it? So this is also happening. It has got nothing to do with who you essentially are. When it, let's see where it is, 336th, 6th. Kandauni hridayavari pranavaci ujari karitateci shariri panu mahize mணிजे मग ऊर्ध्वीचिया रिगा निगा पुढती तेची शक्ती पैगा उदानो ऐसिया लिंगा पात्र जाहली अधोरंध्राचे निवाहे अपानु हे नामलाहे व्यापकपणे होये व्यानुतेची अरोगिले नीरसे शरीर भरी सरिसे आणि न सांडिता असे सर्वसंधी ऐसिया इया राहटी मग तेची क्रिया पाठी समान ऐसी किरीटी बोलिजेगा. Now he is saying, when it operates between the regions of the navel and from regions of the navel to the heart and displays the word Om, it is known as prana. So what is this? This is the, so what they are talking here is not the gods, they are talking about the motive power, and Jnaneshwar Maharaj is taking motive power as the power of the air, the general air. Just as we told, it appears as storm or hurricane or what you call destructive wind or a gentle wind at different parts of the planet. Similarly, when it enters into the body, when it expresses through the eyes, then it is called seeing. When it expresses through the mouth, it's called as tasting or talking, and so on. Because I think the angle he's taking is, if a person is dead, how do we declare a person is dead? How do we declare? Stop breathing. That is the first thing, isn't it? So a person who is not breathing is not able, then there is no seeing taking place, no hearing taking place. All these faculties are missing. So that same motive power here, it says, when it operates through the, when it operates between the region of the navel to the heart, it displays the word Om. It is called prana. So now he is going to talk about prana, apan, vyan, udan, saman. These are the 5. What are they? In general, pran nourishes, apan evacuates, pran, apan, vyan. Vyan pushes the blood to circulate through the body. These are the winds we are talking about, the air. When it goes in, just like one hand becomes 5 fingers. Similarly, air goes in, it becomes 5. Actually, it becomes many more, but these are the 5 main. So, pran, apan, vyan, udan. Udan is that air which keeps coming up. He will explain. Then pran, apan, vyan, udan, saman. Saman is that air which helps in digestion. So now that in short I have told you, so you know what he is going to be explaining now. When it operates between the region of the navel to the heart and displays the word Om, it is known as prana, from navel to the heart. When it moves upwards, it takes the name of Udana. When does it happen? When is it called Udana? When is expression? When you cough, when you hiccup, when you sneeze. And also those who have trained themselves well, majority of the people die and they go via the way of apan, through their genitals or through their anus. very rare. Those who are doctors or nurses, they might know. Majority of the people, they go through those two. But those who have done a bit of sadhana, they will either go through the eyes or through the nose or through the mouth or through, like Paramahamsa Yogananda, he left through the fontanel consciously. So that would be the result of training. That will be the result of where their attention is. If their attention is only at the very big, insecurity at the very worldly level, then what is that worldly level? Me, my children, my body, my relatives, my parents, my food, my sleep, my bed, my sofa, my cushion. Where there is too much of this, then you go through the lower ones. But then you have to cover this much distance from genitals and anus. The distance is 1, 2, 3. After the 3, then these 5 options become available, because there is no gap in between for you to live. So you have to overcome what? Kama, Krodha and Lobha. These first 3 chakras, you have to overcome these 3 chakras. If you are at those 3 chakras, you will live through genitals or the anus. Shushu karoge ya shishi karoge marte samay. Because the air has to live. It will find wherever your attention has been the most, there, or in general throughout your life. But if we have trained ourselves, then either through mouth, many people they breathe out and they go. Some people live from the eyes. I don't know if you know, some people can even open their third eye. The third eye also you can leave, or the fontanel. So, continuing, when it goes out through the lower, so Udanav I told you, hiccups, what else are there? Hiccups, sneeze, and cough, and if you have cultivated it at the when you leave the body. Udan Vayu helps you if you have trained it at the time of the last breath. You can give it direction and go with it. Go with it means allow the breath to go where it wants to go. You don't go anywhere. When it goes out through the lower outlet, anus, it is known as apana. And when it pervades the entire body, it is called vyana. Here it is, Jnaneshwar Maharaj is giving very general. When it pervades the entire body. How does it pervade the entire body? Through the veins, through the arteries, through the capillaries, through the lymphatic system, everywhere. Whatever needs to be, the water needs to be pushed around, the nutrition needs to be pushed around through the capillaries, the dirty water, the dirty blood needs to be pushed around to be purified through the heart. Who is doing that? Vyana. Then, when it distributes the juice of the digested food in all parts of the body and pervades all the joints of the body, it is known as samana. Here it is, he has given it a bit differently. Saman is that air which digests, and Vyan is that which carries the nutrition to. It's just it's technical, don't get lost in it anyway. But what the point is, the breath, the air is making the seeing happen, making the talking happen, making the walking happen, making the cough happen, making the sneeze happen, making the shushu happen, making the shishi happen. making the digestion happen, making the nourishment happen. And unnecessarily we are concerned, oh, I can't see, I can't hear, I am losing my mind, I am having dementia, oh, I have not gone to shushu for shishi for so many days. Start breathing properly, it will happen. Huh? You are not doing anything to maintain this body. You can't decide and have a cough. You can't decide and have a hiccup. It happens. If there is a blockage, body's reaction, automatic. This is called samana. Then now there are other 5 sub breaths which are, so just like we have 18 Puranas and 18 sub Puranas, just like we have Mukhyatma, Mithyatma lower and Gaunatma even lower, but Atma is one. Similarly, first there is one air. The moment air goes in, it becomes Pranapan Vyanudan Saman, and then also there are sub levels of it which is called as Kurma, Kukkara, something. So let's see what he says in 341st verse. 341st. आणे जांभई शिंक छे ढेकर ऐसा होत से व्यापार नाग कूर्म कुकर कुकर क्रुकर इत्यादि होय एवं वायुची हे चेष्टा एकीची परी सुभटा वर्तनास्तव पालटा ये तसे जे ते भेदली वृत्ति पंथे वायु शक्ति गा एथे कर्म कारण चौधे ऐसे जाण आणि ऋतुवर बरवा शारदू शारदी पुढती चांदू चंद्री जैसा संबंधू पौर्णिमेचा का वसंती बरवा आरामू आरामी ही प्रिय संगमू संगमी आगमू उपचारांचा. He says, where are we? Yawning, sneezing, belching, etc. are minor functions of this wind, and are known as Naga, Kurma, Kukkura, Krukara, etc. In this way, O great warrior, although the motive power of the wind is the same, meaning wind is the same, but its expressions are different, it takes different names according to its functions. Know that this power of the wind, which operates in different forms, is the 4th cause of action. So first was Adhishthan, the body. Second was the agent, the doer, or the jiva. And the third was bhul gaya. Third is the motive. थर्ड ये है कि बीच में भूल गए. पहला वो था, फिर एजेंट था, एजेंट के बाद अभी ये मोटिव. मोटिव मीन्स द पावर ऑफ द wind being one but appearing as many, and this is what is making all the organs, the physiological functions, the sensory organs, all the functioning that are going on is because of the wind, not because of the I, not because of the Purusha, not because of the conscious principle. But understand, don't forget this part, Prakriti cannot function without the Purusha. But is Purusha making the Prakriti function? No. Purusha is not interfering with Prakriti. He is staying where he is. Prakriti dances, but in nature we see different. You know, I got this, someone has sent that the peahen sits with an arrogant look. The peacock tries so many things to please her. पीकॉक पुरुषा, नेचर में उल्टा है क्योंकि रिफ्लेक्शन है ना. All birds, all male birds are trying so much, but in human beings, both are trying. I think. Anyway, कहाँ जा रहा है मन? Continuing in this way. Now, where are we? It takes the different names according to its functions. Know that this power of the wind which operates in different forms is the fourth cause of action. Then imagine that we have the best season in autumn, the rising of the moon in the night of the full moon, or an excellent park in the spring, the company of a beloved and all the requisite things of enjoyment, or that there should be a lotus in full bloom filled with pollens, or that there should be poetical power in one's speech with artistic charm added to it, and that charm should be touched by the highest truth. So there should be excellence accompanied with all splendid mental states. This is the 46th onwards. He says, नाना कमली पांडवा विकासू जैसा बरवा विकासी ही यावा परागाचा. तुम्हारा नाम आ गया भाई, पराग. वाचे बरवे कवित्व, कवित्वी बरवे रसिकत्व, रसिकत्वी परतत्व, स्पर्शु जैसा तैसी सर्ववृत्तु वृत्ति वैभवी, बुद्धीची एकली बरवी, बुद्धि ही बरवनवी, इंद्रिय प्रौढी, इंद्रिय प्रौढी मंडळा, शृंगारू एकुची निर्मळा, जय अधिष्ठात्रिया कामेळा, देवताचा जो म्हणवनी चक्षुरादिकी दाहे, इंद्रिया पाठी स्वानुग्रहे, सूर्यादिका का आहे, सुरांचे वृंद. I'll finish it off. ते देव वृंद बरवे, कर्म कारण पाचवे, अर्जुना एथ जाणवे, देवो म्हणे, एवं माने तुझी ये आयणी, तैसी कर्म जाताची हे खाणी, पंचविध आकरणी निरूपिली, आता हेची खाणी वाढे, मग कर्माची सृष्टी घडे, जिहिते हेतुही उघडे, दऊ पाचये. He says, what we were reading here, that or an excellent park in the spring, the company of the beloved and all the requisite things of enjoyment, or that there should be a lotus in full moon filled with pollens, and that there should be poetical power in one's speech with artistic charm added to it, and that charm should be touched by the highest truth. So there should be excellence accompanied with all splendid mental states. The senses should have developed well as a result of that intelligence, and the assemblage of deities which gives support to the senses should be favorable. This assemblage of favorable deities consisting of the sun, etc., is the fifth cause of the action. This is the productive potential. Productive potential means the grace. What is this grace? The intelligence behind. It is the intelligence behind. What is your capacity to see through the eyes right now? You see a certain spectrum, a certain vibration you can see, or a certain vibration you can hear. But can you hear what a dog hears? Have you got that capacity? Can you speak the way dog speaks? Can you speak to the birds? You can see on YouTube there are many people who communicate with birds. They communicate with the snakes. They can speak the language of different animals. You can YouTube it. So that particular person, we call it siddhi, some power, something extraordinary. But he has invoked the potential that is inherent within him. that possibility, that opportunity is with you and me also. What we call among siddhas as the clairaudience, clairvoyant. They can see the chakras around the body, or the aura around the body. They can hear what is going on in your mind. This is because they have invoked that particular God. You also invoke, or you invoke all of them, because Ishvara is fully expressing. So you think of the Ishvara, or you think of the infinite, then all of them will keep developing and developing and developing. See? If you remain a person, think, a person who is thinking about their children, what will be the potential that can express out of that person as a father or mother? What will be? Maximum, the best father and the best mother, isn't it? That is the best you can do. But to become, so you are a father or mother of one child or 2-3 children, but what does it make you to become? What do you need to do for you to become the father of the nation, the mother of the nation? You have to change the game plan. You can't be thinking about your children only. For that, you have to withdraw your energies from getting sucked into only my children. And you have to think of something higher. Siddhis don't come by wishing. Siddhis come when you harness the energies and invoke the potential. So, otherwise what will happen? You are invoking the potential, you are thinking about God, you are doing your Om, you are doing your sadhana, but you have not put any dam anywhere. So what energy is leaking again wherever it has been used to be leaking. So when can you use, if it is raining in the Himalayas, the water comes down and floods everything. It's not beneficial. Then what do? Can they stop? They know the rains are going to come next season again. So what do? They build the dam, they harness the water, and they use that harnessed water for electricity, for irrigation, for water sports, for so many different things. They build canals and take it far and wide so that even those arid lands can be cultivated, isn't it? But without the dam being built, without harnessing the waters, could they take that water far 200 kilometers away to irrigate the dry areas? Not possible. Exactly the same way. Many people say, we are doing so much sadhana, but there is no change coming, mind is still disturbed, desires are not going away. When will God give darshan? ऐसे सब बोलते रहते हैं. How will you get something if you keep doing what you have been doing? How do you expect a different result? Stop being a Gaunatma. Come to Mithyatma. Stop being Mithyatma, come to Mukhyatma. So for that you have to build a dam. No more. Full stop. I am not going to talk about it. Today also, someone's house I went for lunch, and young girl, young mother, She made wonderful rasam bhat. So I really enjoyed with घी वी डाल के. तो मेरे को बड़ा प्यार आ गया. मैंने उसको पकड़ के हक कर लिया, उसको मुंह पे मेरे को, यू मेड इट वेरी स्वीट. उसको पता नहीं सडनली, फिर बाद में मैं बैठा हुआ था, सो शी केम. स्वामी जी, where were you born? Suddenly she felt close. I said, where were you born? I said, I don't know. No, how old are you? कहा मैंने तेरे को प्यार किया, इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि तू मेरे को मेरी पूरी कुंडली खोल ले. हाँ, तो just because that moment of affection was there doesn't mean the dam which I have built, that I am not going to delve into the past, that I should open it intentionally. See, same thing with our energies, same thing with our vitalities, same thing with our default dispositions. Control. If they are not coming under control naturally, then do yama niyama. But if you think of the Lord's name with deep love, it will automatically happen. But many times what happens? We have one foot in the spirituality or in japa and the other foot in relationship. So we are doing japa, we are going to puja, we are doing temple, we are doing tirth yatra. For what? For getting a result for our family, for healing our own body, or for going to heaven. This is not the purpose. This is not the purpose. See that Vishwamitra, he controlled his, हो गया time, अरे ज़्यादा time हो गया. Last one. That Vishwamitra, he controlled for 10,000 years, he controlled his senses. And then one Menaka come, one touch, and he melted. Extreme alertness is required if we want to transform. If we want to transform and understand this transformation, this change, this wherever there is transformation, if you are thinking that I am the body, you will do yoga. If you think I cannot live without breath, then you will do pranayam. If you think I am a mother, then you will not do yoga and all that. Then you will be only doing everything for your children. But if you think you are the son or daughter, then you will do everything for your parents. Then you will not do meditation and all that. Then all that meditation, scriptural is only, क्या कहते हैं, it feels good. It cannot be sincere. That does not mean you cannot do the service of the parents. Do the service, but don't be infatuated, don't be attached, don't be identified. If you can serve them as you serve yourself, then it is the best. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. We'll be starting with verse 15 next week. And those who want to come to the class, they are more than welcome. I will put the address. You put the address in the Gita class. Hari Om. Hari Om.